the fight scenes in this are so good, damn good, damn good. I really love the Samurai Champloo fight scenes. Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alex.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John, and we're starting a new anime block off with Samurai Champloo. Episode 1, Tempestuous Temperaments, and Episode 2, Redeye Reprisal. Japanese debut May 20th, 2004 and June 3rd, 2004. This has been on both Adult Swim and Toonami. Adult Swim first got it on May 14th, 2005 and May 21st, 2005. Then it shifted to Toonami in 2016.
Sure did.
Sam, this is your pick.
Yeah, well, we had such a good time doing Cowboy Bebop, months ago. That I like, you guys have the longer form anime and I have longer form stuff too. It's Space Ghost Coast to Coast. So I like the idea of kind of contrasting that every now and again with something a bit more self-contained. I say that and it's gonna be like 13 weeks of this. But yeah, no, it's Samurai Champloo. I haven't seen it in its entirety for a good long while. This has an interesting production history because Shinichiro Watanabe and his associates are no longer with Sunrise at this point. This is not done by that studio. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of keep that vibe going while transitioning out of the Cowboy Bebop world, and I don't think we have done a lot of period piece stuff on our end. And in Samurai Champloo, it's I love that blend of that level of animation and just the depth of storytelling that we get across these episodes. So, and again, it's been like 10 years at least. So it's over 10 years since I've seen Samurai Champloo in its entirety. So let's talk about Samurai Champloo. What's your gate? What's your all's gateway to Champloo?
Champloo.
I must have seen this during the original Adult Swim run.
Yeah,
me too. The timing is about right, and this is sort of in the era where we finally started getting Adult Swim the same as the Americans.
Yeah, this was it was Adult Swim all the way, and I remember staying up to watch it and being very excited about it and loving the music. And as an adult, realizing that the guy who made Boondocks must have really loved this anime specifically.
Yeah. I mean, just talking about the music, Yoko Kanno, of course, did Cowboy Bebop. A lot of jazzy and blues kind of vibes into that. Samurai Champloo is done by Nujabes, who brings kind of lo-fi before lo-fi was popular to this, and a lot of hip hop and everything. I love that opening title sequence. Really just like Bebop establishes what Bebop's going to be, or Tank rather. This really establishes what Samurai Champloo is tonally and aesthetically. I think if you go into this expecting Cowboy Bebop 2 or a more clear spiritual successor, you're going to walk away a little disappointed, because this is very much its own thing, even if it does have Steve Blum voicing the main character.
And of course, as he legally is required to. Who voices Jin again? Because Jin is also familiar as hell.
Well, it's a boy child.
Boy child. Mazel tov.
I had it in my head, but it's gone. I will find it while you vamp.
And yes. Well, let's vamp. Let's continue to vamp.
I
want to just point out the interesting thing about Mugen is that he is not from mainland Japan. He is from like the Okinawan Islands, and that's actually very politically charged at the time period we're in.
Which is also the origin of the cuisine Champloo.
That's true. Now, can you tell us what a Champloo is while we continue to vamp for John?
Well,
I mean, there's different kinds of Champloo. I mean, it's casserole. What's up?
It's a stew, effectively. But Kirk Thornton is the guy who did it. He played Steve Asimov in Bebop, a lot of Digimon. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Love Hina, Your Guarantee of Quality.
Yeah. Guarantee of quality.
Basically, he looks like one of those guys who was around the office when they were dubbing anime, because he's in everything. He was in Blue Exorcist, Persona 4.
Oh shoot! Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, you throw in a Sega title. I mean,
We got a lot of great voice actors here. I love hearing Jet's voice in the background of the first episode. Like that was very fun for me.
To sort of go to your point about one of the characters being from Ryukas, as I would love to bring up a Watanabe quote because I think it's really interesting.
Hmm.
Because he's like, the anime does deal with samurai, and in the back of my mind, I was always worried it would be seen as nationalistic. That is why I made one of the characters someone from the Ryukus, and put a bit in about a person training in China, and had foreign characters appear. If you watch the anime, it's clear it has nothing to do with it. It's not an anime designed to protect Japan's unique traditions and cultures. National borders have always been arbitrarily drawn by people, and in ancient times there was a lot of exchange of people and culture within the continent. So yeah, you'll see deliberately Watanabe makes a big point. He goes out of his way to draw a line between what this is and sort of more conservative Japanese dramas about Japan's history. So we will see later on LGBTQ characters who are brought in. There's a few chunks of this that are deliberately, I don't want to say rage baiting, but I think he's clearly putting his flag into conservative groups of that Samurai Champloo is not saying Japan was the good old, that Edo Japan was the good old days.
Yeah, I know it's kind of subversive. I mean, if yeah, I think there is a clear subversion, and you see it as early as the opening song, and you see it really kind of with our opening premise when we get so Samurai Champloo for the uninitiated revolves around three main characters going on working together. Two are out to kill each other, but they promise that they're going to help their companion find a samurai who smells like sunflowers first. And it's like it's feudal Japan. There are, I love this opening episode because we see how each of these three kind of operate before fate throws them together, and we just get some kick-ass action scenes.
Oh, the fight scenes in this are so good, damn good, damn good. I really love the Samurai Champloo fight scenes. They're so fluid and brutal. It is the most brutal samurai fighting, I think, that I've seen in like an anime.
I love how they sort of blend the actual traditional katana fighting. So there are bits that sort of go back to those old films where samurai fights were very slow and one strike. But
Yeah.
there's that modern speed. So you still have the thing that swords kill you in one hit, but how you get into position for those hits isn't sort of slowly pacing around each other now. There's a real Kurosawa, like, I think I heard it once described as Kurosawa on a lot of coffee. And that's kind of true because it does have his style, but it's just very fast as well.
Yeah. Would Kurosawa not do cocaine?
No, he was a classy gentleman.
Okay.
We
fair
need that on a t-shirt. Would
Like-
Kurosawa not do cocaine?
yeah, italicized not.
Like I think that's the first piece of merch we ever get is that t-shirt and just a picture of Kurosawa.
Yeah.
With his thumb up.
Getting ready to take a bump. But the
That'd be a grower to get sued.
oh, 100%, 100%. God, I mean, it took Capcom 2 years to get the rights to use Toshiro Mifune's likeness for the new Onimusha game. I was like, 2 years?
2
Don't they
years.
just say yes or no?
2 years is crazy. But yeah, we Mugen, Jin, and Fuu. Mugen is our friend from the Ryukyu Islands. He also doesn't know what a sunflower is because they do not grow in the Ryukyu Islands. You have Jin, who is a ronin specifically, and then you have
Our straight man, essentially.
our straight man, kind of like kind of. He's also in the bullshit as much as Jin is, and then we have Fuu, who is looking for her samurai who smells of sunflowers and is our tricksy little friend. She's the rogue of our party, if you will,
Yes, complete with smoke bombs.
complete with smoke bombs.
Yeah.
And yeah, we start off with them. Basically, what happens is that Mugen and Jin anger the local government effectively in different ways. Mugen gets in a bar fight with one of his sons. Jin sees him trying to execute a guy wanting a construction contract and steps in and kills his bodyguards. But we cut between those very rapidly, which I liked. At least there's some really nice moments when they're together, sort of arguing, because like it is you're not as different as you think you are, but in a way where we can see it and they can't. Like, they think they're totally different, but they got into this situation basically the same way, even if they wouldn't agree they did.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's that nobody's like blameless, even though they are going up against like an unjust government. They all have a penchant for getting into trouble. as we see. Fuu's probably the most innocent of the three. She just has a really shitty day at work, and then it just all
And
comes to a head.
it all comes to a head, and she goes on a journey with these two actual psychopaths.
Yeah, I mean, there's a moment where Jin in these first two episodes, like, oh, I think it's in the first episode, like, oh, you're actually going to kill them? Oh, it's like poor form. Okay, all right, fine, but I'll kill them too.
Yeah,
'Cause
sure,
that's what
why
he.
not? Let's do it. Uh,
Yeah,
Do you have anything about Studio Manglobe, like the origins of Studio Manglobe or
uh,
Shinichiro?
not dramatically much that's interesting.
Okay.
Pretty staple thing. There's a lot of people who left, as is normal, left a big studio and formed their own thing. That is kind of what happened a lot. You saw it a lot with Sunrise, especially. Studios that would form to make the new Gundam, and then after the new Gundam, they'd go, actually, let's go off on our own, do our own thing. And that was just sort of the norm in Japan for many years. So there isn't really a big drama or anything. The other guys went, we want to do our own thing now, and formed our own production committee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of wild to me that this is like almost a decade after. All right, so or it's about a decade after the Cowboy Bebop movie that they finally, kind of get the. I'm trying to think if they did anything in between together.
Not major. There's a few little times they would do like little bits and bobs, but nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
so we do have to talk about the very interesting way the first episode opens. We get a little message about how they don't care if we care about historical accuracy. We get that one scene, and then we get the 2 days later, but then it's the future, and it zoops its way back to this era of Japan. And I think that that's really interesting to give us setting in place, because we also see a character in the beginning listening to hip hop and dressed in the way you would see someone in the Bronx dressed, which I think is a very fun thing to do in an anime like this.
I think it suggests that. I mean, it suggests this kind of fluidity that this is like how Japan is now embracing hip hop and that sort of thing. And like I said, there's a punk rock energy or subversive energy to this thing right from jump. And it's almost like, hey, this isn't the samurai story that you're used to. These dudes can ball,
They
and
can ball.
we get to see him hoop pretty hardcore in this episode. Um, I do like starting in media res as well. I do like the idea of like, oh, these guys are about to be executed, but we see what becomes of that. How they, funny. You're probably wondering how I got in this position. Oh, funny story, and
Funny
that's
story of how I got here.
yeah,
So to pull up a Watanabe quote, I've been interested in hip hop since it first appeared. The fact it was born not in the music industry but on the street. The idea of using a turntable as an instrument, singing vividly about reality instead of typical love songs, and its link to graffiti and dance. I believe samurai in the Edo period and modern hip hop artists have something in common. Rappers opened the way to their future with one microphone. Samurai decided their fate with one sword. So this whole thing is about these are people who are rebels. They are living fringes of society. And we see that kind of start the second episode. We immediately establish these two guys may have had fancy training, but they're both broke. And
They're super broke.
and we even again see that with the other guys they meet on the cafe in the second episode. These are kind of low farmers who are kind of sitting on the sort of just the edge of society. They get some of the benefits, but not all of it.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Mugen has acorns in his pocket.
yeah. I do appreciate that we get it's almost like a rival group in episode 2, right? Um even down to like Jin having a kind of another stoic samurai figure that he kind of, you know, and that's something that we get paid off later as well, but just the idea that these two guys that can take the time to appreciate each other's company, basically share notes, and it's like, yeah, I've been hired to kill you. And like we're off to the races over there, and then with Mugen, of course, is getting in trouble, like any decent story, it involves a dame. And
Dame and her
yeah,
mushrooms.
yes, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's a giant man, there's a boss character. Yippee.
And I love a second episode because Oniwakamu, the guy they call the ogre because he's so ugly he was driven out of his town. It is a really interesting thing that we see Fuu being the one to sort of help him come round, because it establishes Fuu's position as well, is that unlike these two guys who are blinded by their violence, Fuu is able to sort of be more human, which because she was a waitress, of course she sort of interacted with people from all levels of society. And of course she's going to sort of empathize with the guy who was cast out versus the dickhead she was having to deal with before.
It's very, I mean, that's even that's kind of subversive in a way, because we feel sorry for the more quote unquote, for lack of a better term, monstrous figure. And then his death is depicted as a tragedy, because it is. He hesitates when he's charging Mugen, and it gets him killed, and he hesitates because of Fuu and the compassion that she showed him. That's it kind of underscores a lot of the emotional complexity, I suppose, that we see as the show kind of progresses.
Yeah. It's interesting too, right? Because what makes it there are so many there are beats in it that make it similar to Cowboy Bebop, but there's so many beats that make it different. And the complete shift in chemistry between our main cast of characters and the external forces acting on them is very interesting, right? Because especially in the beginning, Jin and Mugen in particular genuinely are just kind of working their way through life, maybe hoping not to get murdered. But Fu is there with an actual goal that is driving the plot, as opposed to it being so random and scattered. Like, yeah, they're going to get into side quests, but there is one goal, is to find this guy. So I appreciate the focus of it. I also always feel bad for any Watanabe project that came after Cowboy Bebop, because Samurai Champloo is so freaking good and no one cares about it as much as they care about Bebop.
They call their shot at the end of Bebop. They say they're going to carry that weight, and they really have. I mean, the Beatles did the same thing with that song as well. But anything that they do is going to be unfairly. Yeah, I say this as somebody that's invoked Cowboy Bebop like multiple times during recording of this. But come on, like it's the big thing they did before. It's like trying to talk about like John Lennon's career and not mentioning the Beatles. It's like, oh, nobody likes Walls and Bridges. It's an okay album, but no, yeah, no, it is kind of a Cowboy Bebopian story. Like we would expect Spike or Faye or somebody to accidentally kill the hulking antagonist with a heart of gold, because they don't know that they have a heart of gold. They haven't had the opportunity. And there's fireflies, and that makes it nice. It has that kind of visual poetry to it at the same time.
Yeah, I think Watanabe's thing is the only link between this and Cowboy Bebop is it's about depictions of death, which I think you'll see that a lot more in Samurai Champloo than you will in Bebop, because the death is much more in your face.
And it's apparent from the very first episode that I mean, people die in the first episode of Cowboy Bebop, but Spike doesn't necessarily kill them. Whereas, even the first episode, Jin and Mugen rack up quite the body count.
Mugen's body count is insane. By the time you get to the end of this anime, Mugen has committed like kind of a small genocide.
It's like it's in the dozens. It's in the
It's definitely in like the 30s or 40s. Like,
yeah.
It's actually why one of my favorite parts of that first episode is when Mugen has the sort of cocky son of the local governor and starts breaking his fingers until they bring the bodyguard there. I think it's a really cool subversion moment, because he's at first you might think, oh, he's kind of the unwanting hero who's going to step in to save Fu, and he does save her for a moment, then just grabs the guy's hand and starts breaking fingers, and it's like, oh no, he's not a hero, he's a psychopath. Like, yeah. In this time, this is the time he accidentally ends up on the side we agree with, but it's a big hint that sort of he's not always going to be on the right side. He's just violent.
And they do the same thing with Jin when, he kills those guys, but he takes the money from the guy who's on the ground. Like, he fully steals from him and walks away.
These are not characters to necessarily idolize on a moral ground. I also like that they're kind of our Goku Vegeta vibe, in that they're like, well, Kakarot, I will be the one who defeats you. Like,
which one is Goku and which one's Vegeta?
Well, in this case, it's more of a probably a Tien Yamcha the deal going on. Jin's Tien Shinhan, and Mugen probably Yamcha. They have that kind of energy, but there's a rivalry that evokes Vegeta Goku.
Yeah, and Mugen is also stupid like Goku, so
Yeah.
Mugen is also stupid. Like he can't count.
Or Yamcha.
Or Yamcha. I think Yamcha can count. I do also.
He can't count to 300 times Earth's gravity, though.
No. I do also think it's interesting that Jin in particular is so pale compared to literally every other character, which gives you a hint about his past that I really kind of enjoy, because he's much more like he's beautiful in that kind of like stoic sort of way, and it's like that is not a normal way some random Ronin would be looking, especially in this setting.
The glasses, too.
The
Right?
glasses too are an indication that he's there's money in his background.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a bit more of a bookish swordsman.
A nearsighted swordsman.
Yeah.
It also sort of plays off when you get him with the assassin, because the assassin keeps telling him like, "Oh, this isn't a dojo, is it?" I love that. I love that assassin, just simply because he's such a dweeb. Like, because he does the whole thing about, "Oh, I'm not getting paid, so we're done." But they deliver it. The English dub and Japanese dub this really well in a way that doesn't make him cool. It makes him kind of pathetic. In that all you care about is money.
Yes, he's also not like clearly like he's a formidable opponent, but not to the point where like Jin is completely outclassed. So it's not like I'm not getting paid, I'm sparing your life. It's more like, this fight could have gone either way. I'm good. Like it doesn't have that air of superiority about it.
Which
I learned
really,
what I needed.
Yeah.
yeah, and that really works everything else in the episode. Like the one-armed guy is, he's just a weird, horrible weirdo. Like it really does sort of capture the idea that this is a violent world but the people who engage in violence have bad childhoods. They're not well leveled. They're not cool. They're dirty and weird. Like, I think the closest we get to normal characters are the two shop owners at the very start Fuu is working for, whose main approach when this chaos comes to them is to be like, just stay quiet and hopefully they'll pass. And then when it all goes wrong, they go, we're just going to move and build up, because no one wants to be in this world, because this world is full of horrible people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we see that next week we're gonna get that, and the benefit of next week is we actually get to finish a two-parter within a single span of one of these.
Ugh, that never happens. What
But,
a luxury to have a two-parter in one episode.
oh man, yeah. I mean, we have to talk about Batman picking up on a back-heavy two-parter.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, I revisiting Samurai Champloo, the two things that struck me, at least from these opening episodes that we watched, not as much like Cowboy Bebop as you anticipated. Even the style, it's stylish, but it's a different kind of style. And it's good to hear Steve Bloom voice a main character again.
Oh god. I love me some Steve Bloom.
Yeah, he's for me, and it's a very different character. It's his voice is always going to be recognizable whether he's Spike Spiegel or Wolverine, but it's a very different character, frankly, than any other character I think he's done before, which I appreciate. Yeah, but these samurai are the good guys in a de facto sense. But yeah, the second episode really underscores how nuanced, I suppose, and how complex that idea of morality can be. Which again just only escalates from here, and as early as the stuff we're going to cover next week.
Yeah. This is as calm as the show gets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we're here talking of sort of dirty and weird. The Adult Swim stuff is interesting because obviously this is beyond what Adult Swim could show.
Mhm.
So the Adult Swim version is censored. They will be cutting and blurring some blood and some nudity. A lot of boobs get blurred later on, which is interesting. They opt to blur here rather than cut, which I've always kind of imagined it's sort of a bit of a respect thing, because obviously Bebop was made Adult Swim, so I always kind of feel that the blurring is because of sort of out of respect for Watanabe, we're not going to cut his work, we'll just blur when we need to. but they do bleep swearing, but they do it in a really cool way. It's all bleeped with record scratches.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I remember the record scratches.
And I'm going to say it, I actually slightly prefer the censored version because I think the record scratches work really well, especially because they're different ones as well. So it's not just the same effect. They do different ones for different things. And I think it actually makes the swearing a little bit more intense and it works so well with the aesthetic that I actually do kind of prefer the censored version for those little moments.
Interesting.
If you can get this to some off-air recordings, I recommend giving it a try. It's a very interesting way to do it because all they remove in the first 2 episodes is shit.
Yeah.
But by having when Mugen first screams at a guy, by having it as the record scratch, it actually implies it's a much worse swear than it actually is.
Nice.
Fun with censorship.
Yeah, it's some of the better ones. I think I do kind of write it up to just. It's something I mentioned when we did Bebop. The one thing I always note is that while Adult Swim will always be funny with promos, they never were with Bebop. All the Bebop promos were just, this is Bebop. It's great. We're not going to make a joke here. Even when they're doing the black and white title cards, they were never jokey about it. And the same, they're a little bit more with Champloo, but they're still very respectful to it. And they sort of go out of their way to show a deference Adult Swim never usually does. So I really do think there is someone behind the scenes who just loves Watanabe and is we're going to make sure we're going to bring as much as we can, as pure as we can, to the point even when we're censoring, we're going to try and make the censoring fit the world.
I like that a lot. I think that that's really clever, and I appreciate when Adult Swim is in love with the thing that it's putting forward because it changes the air around it a lot, and I appreciate that. And I loved staying up late for Samurai Champloo. If I am correct, I remember it coming on at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, for most of the run.
Yeah. Eastern Standard Time, I should say.
I think I was in grad school or something by the time they started to show this. So I didn't, if I caught it, it was only because it was what you were saying, 2012, John, something like that.
2005, then Toonami 2016.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw it on Adult Swim in I was 14 or 15.
Oh, 2005, so I would have been in high school.
Yeah, there's no way that you were in graduate school.
To be fair, it was you may have, because this was rerun numerous times. Because same with Bebop, because it's so short. Adult Swim would kind of use it to fill in when the between season gaps or other things.
Yeah, it's like I say, the idea of a more standalone anime was kind of appeal. There's definitely long form anime I want to get to down the line that aired on. Yeah. I mean, there's I can think of 2, but the next 2 anime that I wanted to do were just okay, let's get in the pocket and let's do something that we can just kind of breeze through in a single go. And Samurai Champloo. I mean, how was it when's the last time you guys dug into Samurai Champloo at all?
Oh God, it feels like it's been ages ago, and I don't know. My nephew started picking it up because he watched Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, "Oh, I know I'm going to be rewatching it for the show." I don't think I've watched it since 2012.
For me, it was last year.
Oh, okay.
well, la di da, John.
To be fair, that's just because I had a friend who was like, "It's a shame Watanabe never did anything after Bebop," and I was
what?
He did quite a bit after Bebop, actually.
Yeah.
Here's the thing he did after Bebop, and it's just as good. Yeah. Here's Lazarus, which is fine.
Lazarus is fine. Leave Lazarus alone. It's fine. It's just not Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. But what are some do we have anything before final thoughts?
No. I mean,
Can hop into that final thought, Sam.
I mean, for me, it's good to be back. It's good to be back in the Samurai Champloo world, and it is kind of almost like reuniting with an old friend in the same way that it is whenever I rewatch Cowboy Bebop, because I don't want to rewatch Cowboy Bebop regularly. There is multiple years in between a Bebop rewatch. And this was even longer for Samurai Champloo. I had seen an episode or a clip here and there, but just to sit down and be no, we're gonna watch all of Samurai Champloo. It's oh, there's my friends again. Let's see them just horribly fuck up over the course of these like 24 episodes.
These first two episodes, Watanabe is just the king of first episodes, which sounds like a backhanded compliment, but it's not. It's amazing how so quickly in this episode he establishes Jin, he establishes Mugen, he establishes Fuu, makes a really clear statement of setting, and brings everything together. Like that first episode, a lesser show would have taken like 3 to do that, but how he had them cutting between the two stories repeatedly, and just does such a good job of establishing who these people are, the world they live in, and why this is important. Like, it's effortlessly stylish, it's cool in a very unique way. Like, the fusion of hip hop and sort of Edo is amazing. Again, it's amazingly smooth. It doesn't feel like a fusion of those two things, like in a conscious way. It just works, So it's great. And I love again just how out the bat Watanabe was very much. This isn't a period piece. This isn't about Japan being great in the old days. This is a very unique thing. This is my opinion, and the old days sucked. And I'm going to make it really clear that these characters may be cool, but God, the world they live in is horrible.
We all need to acknowledge right now that Watanabe is cooler than all of us. Watanabe just has this ability to create it, like, even when we're talking quote unquote about a show lesser than Cowboy Bebop, and it's not. It just happens to live in the shadow of Cowboy Bebop. Like it's effortlessly cool. The way the story is told is so masterful and it's so laser focused while still feeling like a garage band jam session. And I think that that is so genuinely difficult and genuinely amazing to see come into fruition in the same way that Cowboy Bebop felt that way too. It's effortless and grungy at the same time, and I think that that's awesome. Mugen, Fuu, and Jin are fantastic characters. I love their chemistry together. I love that we're coming back to this. I'm sad that it's taken me this long to come back to it. So I'm happy that I get to enjoy it with you guys, and I get to enjoy it with you guys. But that does mean that we have pulled into our final destination. That is right. It is time for us to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again in joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.